So let's go to Graham. Alex is going to save you for last. You write about this in this book. If you haven't gotten this book, there's a chance to buy it after. If you're watching online, make sure you go on Amazon. Unbracketed, big-time college basketball done the right way. And you write about Eva Kor's story and the Davidson college program. Where did you hear about this, and why was it so important to memorialize this in a book forever?
First of all, thank you so much for allowing us to be here. It's truly an honor. Alex and I have been friends.
It's an honor because today you went to Pauley Pavilion.
We did go to Pauley Pavilion. Of course, doing something basketball. That's what we do. But Alex and I have been friends for about 10 years, and I knew his story, and I guess it was right before the trip in 2018, and I knew about this wonderful experience that Eva Kor led every year, and he goes, "You're not going to believe who's coming this year," and it's the Davidson college basketball team, and I was awestruck. I said it at a lunch today. People don't realize how unique this was, and our hope in the days and years following is that more teams will do this. But college basketball teams can travel about every 4 years, and 99.9% of the time, they're going over to, quote unquote, get better as a team. They're scheduling games against some pro teams. And this was just so unique that, and we put this line was so important for us in the book, that the Davidson players did not touch a basketball. There's so much pressure on these coaches to win that Coach McKillop saying, we're not going to worry about playing games, or this is going to be the ultimate classroom where we're going to learn. And my co-author and I, Jerry Logan, who can't be here today, a couple years after that, we're coming up with we wrote our first book on Butler University, where I work, and we had a second idea about how can you profile the good things in college athletics. If you pick up the newspaper today, you'll read, there are a couple big stories right now on Northwestern firing their coach for some things, and another coach from West Virginia who's fighting to get his job after doing, quite frankly, a lot of bad things. We said there's still real good in college athletics, and people need to hear this story. And a small circle of us knew that, and the Davidson community knew it, but really, really wanted to broaden that out to a more public audience. The last thing I'll say is you mentioned Sister Jean, and originally when we were coming up with the draft for the book, we led off with Sister Jean's. I'm assuming everybody knows who she is.
Right, she's do a little intro to her.
Yeah. 103-year-old nun, crazy basketball fan, wonderful lady. We were going to start the book with Sister Jean's story, and I said, Jerry, we've got to introduce it with the Davidson story about going to Auschwitz. It's so powerful, it's so unique, and the joke I had, which really wasn't a joke, the guilt of moving Sister Jean to the back of the book really haunted me for about a week. But we just ultimately, Rabbi, wanted to showcase this unique story, continuing to tell about the atrocities of the Holocaust, and again, showcase there are people like Coach McKillop who really are truly educators in college athletics.
So Alex, you were on this trip as the son of Eva Kor, and have been to Auschwitz multiple times. Actually, there's some people here that I believe she was a survivor on the March of the Living when they went. Literally a living hero in the movement of going back to Poland and learning about the Holocaust in firsthand experience. And also, Eva was a gigantic basketball fan, as I saw many Facebook posts over the years of you and your parents of blessed memory. What did this mean for her to take these young people who usually weren't her normal students on this type of mission?
So, like Graham said, thank you for having us. When I would go with my mom, I went 25 times. Most of the time was to keep my mom out of trouble. So let's be clear there. When my mom always loved the opportunity to teach, no matter whom, but she had a special affinity toward younger people, and particularly high school and college kids. And she got to Auschwitz when she was 10, and she would tell me that the second that she stepped off onto the selection platform, she was no longer a child. So she really gravitated toward teaching young people. My father, also a survivor, big basketball fan. We could talk about that. So my mom knew about basketball, and when she was presented this idea, just loved the idea. And she liked tall people because she was, 5'1" on a good day. But it was just I've been there 25 times. I was there 2 weeks ago. And obviously, for numerous reasons, this was by far one of the most incredible trips. These players, you never know how somebody's going to react. And I've been with young people age 10 all the way to age 90, and you never know. And these players, and I was really impressed by Coach here. He let them feel what they had to feel. Some wanted to hug my mom. Some wanted to be left alone. Some wanted to cry. Some wanted, to talk. So it was just incredible. I watched him from a distance because I was always in a situation where I had to worry about somebody in the group. And I just think it was, as Graham said, I think we really want to continue this because there's so many good things that can come from teaching about such a terrible time in history. And I think in this day and age when we have so many young people that really they don't know where they're going, and more importantly, they don't know about the Holocaust, I think this is an incredible time in history for me as a second generation to kind of follow my mom's footsteps.
And so, Coach, you told me earlier today that these students, as you were speaking to them, didn't even know so much about the Holocaust. Is there a moment on that trip that you realized the potential turned into reality of what they could be, as you said, turning them into leaders?
As you referenced Eva with forgiveness, and as Alex referenced his mom with the selection platform becoming no longer a young girl, Eva took us to the selection platform, and I'm sure you've seen pictures of the train track and the train, and she stood at that selection platform and in the greatest of detail described the doors opening, the Nazis screaming, the dogs barking, the guns everywhere, the people shouting, the chaos. And she described how she lost her family at that moment. And I think the exact quote she had said was one of the Nazis came up to her and said to the mom, are they twins, Miriam and Eva? And of course, they were dressed alike. And Eva's mom said, is that a good thing? And he said, yeah. And she said, they are twins. And that was the last she saw her mother. The Nazis ripped the mother from holding the two girls and took her in one direction and put the girls in the other direction. And for this woman to tell our players about forgiveness in that particular position right there. And she even said, and when I got off the train, I could smell the new poured cement. That's how graphic she was in her description and memory. And she could forgive people for that. You can't get a more powerful message from that experience.